So now that Moon Knight is actually getting his own show on Netflix, I do believe, or maybe it's a movie, I'm not quite sure, but regardless, now that Moon Knight is becoming a bit more of a popular character in the Marvel Universe, I've noticed that there are actually a lot of people who don't know who Moon Knight is. So, if you don't know who he is, you've come to the right place. Hi guys, my name is Chris, and I'm going to be doing an overview of Moon Knight to tell you guys what's up with him, what's his origin, what are his powers, just stuff like that, basic general knowledge that you might need to know if you want to get into the character before you start watching him. So, without further ado, I'll cut to the intro and we can get right into the overview.
Why do I feel like I linger between the words to say the words to remember.
Alright, to give a little bit of background on Mark Spector, basically his family were European Jewish, and his father was a rabbi, and in order to escape the Nazi oppression of Hitler's regime, they actually all moved to America. The whole family moved to Chicago, and while yes, they were still oppressed and discriminated against, they at least weren't being hunted and killed. That is to say, until Mark actually found out an old family friend of theirs was a serial killer that targeted Jewish people and a Nazi deserter. The man, Perlman, would make an attempt on Mark's life, but Mark would be able to fight him off just long enough for him to choose to flee rather than continue the altercation. This trauma would go on to scar Mark and give him dissociative identity disorder. Mark would go on to develop personalities such as Stephen Grant, the millionaire entrepreneur and financer, and the cab driver, Jake Lockley. After 3 years and 2 tours in Iraq for the Marines, Mark's past of mental illness would be discovered and he would be kicked out of the Marine Corps. He would later go on to move to the CIA, where he would become an agent with many familiar faces, including his brother Randall. Now, at the time, Mark had a girlfriend named Lisa, who had discovered that Randall was involved with a gun-running scheme. Randall would go on to kill Lisa, Mark's girlfriend, with a hatchet in order to stop her from telling people. When Mark found out about this, he himself retaliated with a grenade, believing Randall to have been killed by it. Mark would leave the CIA because of this event and go on to become a mercenary and soldier of fortune. Him and a friend of his, Frenchie, would take a job for a man named Raoul Bushman. They had decided to take a mission in Sudan. While in Sudan, Bushman would go on to kill an archaeologist and attempt to sexually assault his daughter. Spector, not down with watching this dude sexually assault somebody, started fighting Bushman. They came to blows, and eventually, Spector was left for dead in the desert by Bushman. After this, he would later go on to have contact with the ancient Egyptian moon god known as Khonshu, and Khonshu would offer to revive Mark and give him back his life in exchange for being his avatar on Earth, his hero of justice. Mark takes him up on his offer, defeats Bushman's remaining men as Bushman flees, and returned to New York City to become the vigilante known as Moon Knight. As mentioned prior, Mark Spector possesses multiple personalities, such as Stephen Grant, his means as to acquiring so much finances, as he is a millionaire entrepreneur, and his means of collecting street-level information, such as, where criminals are hiding, what kind of enterprises are they running. Jake Lockley, the cab driver, is always the personality that gets the beat on the situation. Now, of course, leading 4 lives leads Mark Spector to be under great mental stress and instability, which has made him an unstable and volatile person. But then again, with everything that's happened in the past year, who's not a little unstable and volatile a person every now and then? So, Moon Knight, or basically Marvel's version of Batman with a few special powers, is a pretty resourceful and powerful superhero. He has many tools and gadgets to help him in his fight against crime, such as his Moon Knight armor, which is Kevlar armor with a 2-way built-in radio system that he can contact Frenchie with, Frenchie being his right-hand man. He also even goes on to later on upgrade the Kevlar to adamantium and add dart launchers to the gauntlets of his suit. He even has flashlights built in so that he can explore poorly lit areas. He has crescent darts made of adamantium to cut through things like people and obstacles, nunchucks, an adamantium truncheon with a built-in taser, bolas, a blowgun, an energy shield, an Ankh of Khonshu, which glows when he faces imminent danger and can actually double over as a weapon as well, a pair of bracers which have net shooters and metal claws. He's proficient in the use of a bow and arrow. He has an ivory boomerang, a grappling hook, a lasso, a bow staff, flashbangs, etc., etc. He's got a ton of gear. He, like I said, is basically like Marvel's version of Batman. He's got a utility built with endless possibilities, but he's also got some special powers which kind of sets him apart from Batman. I mean, they both suffer from childhood trauma, they both use lots of gadgets, they're both millionaires, but at least Khonshu grants this guy a bit of an edge over Batman, so to speak. Now, similarly to Batman, Moon Knight is a master of martial arts. He has mastered multiple different martial arts. He has mastered many different weapons. He actually doesn't even need to hit people with his staff to hurt them. And he is a master of using vehicles. He can basically access and use almost any vehicle with perfection. Now, in terms of his actual superhuman powers, depending on the phase of the moon in the moon cycle, he is granted superhuman strength, speed, and durability, and he actually has the ability to regenerate minor wounds when in direct exposure to moonlight. It is also extremely difficult to manipulate his mind, as he is granted protection by Khonshu. Some examples of his physical prowess: he was able to keep up with the Punisher and Daredevil. He contends with foes like Black Cat and Bullseye on a regular basis. He's comparable in speed, of course reactions, to Daredevil. He's kept up with Deadpool in combat, and he has several instances across his comic run of him dodging and slicing bullets in half. And even in terms of getting hit, he's taken a hit from Venom before and he's still been able to keep going. He was only knocked out for a moment after deflecting a grenade. The guy's a verifiable badass, and if you like Batman and you're also a fan of Marvel Comics, well then I'd be on the watch for this guy because he's coming to the MCU, and I think people should be excited about it. He's a really cool hero. He's got some great quotes, like I've got one right here. I think it's one of the coolest quotes he's said, and I'll put it up on screen for those of you that can't understand what the fuck I'm saying. Told him I don't wear white to hide myself. I wear it so that they'll see me coming. So they'll know who it is. Because when they see the white, it doesn't matter how good a target I am. Their hands shake so bad they couldn't hit the moon. That's pretty badass. It's thematic because, you know, they couldn't hit the moon. It makes sense because they're so scared their hands are shaking. They couldn't hit an extremely large and easy to hit target. You know, I don't need to go through all the semantics of the quote. I just think it's a really badass quote, and I think that quote alone pretty much exemplifies everything that's great about Mark Spector and the Moon Knight. And like I said, you guys should really give the comics a try, or at least watch all the stuff that the MCU is producing if you like Batman, or if you think that you'd be interested in this character. He's got a cool backstory. He's definitely a brutal and cool superhero. And if you like things like, you know, Daredevil, Punisher, Deadpool, Batman, all those. I keep coming back to Batman because they're so similar. But if you like those superheroes or anti-heroes or whatever, then I'd definitely give Moon Knight a try. But yeah, guys, that's going to do it for me. Thank you all so much for watching. If you liked the video, leave a like on the video. If you want to keep up to date with more of this type of content, more Marvel heroes and Marvel hero overviews and the like, go ahead and let me know in the comment section down below which characters you'd like to see. Subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Do all that great stuff, and I'll try to interact with you guys as much as I can, and I'll cover any heroes that you guys want me to cover, or, you know, villains and anti-heroes, and I'll even make them a priority if you guys ask. So like I said, thank you guys all for watching, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time. Peace.